that time of the week again. It's going to be uploaded at like midnight on Saturday for all you international listeners, all of the 150, 140 people who listen to this. But yeah, View from the Hazards episode, I think it's episode 18, and we're here. Ben Taylor Matthews, world number 4, rating of 90.
That's the first time I've been introduced like
I know, rating of 90, that's all I ever see on his Facebook profile picture, which I'm calling on. But yeah, Ben's
What's
here.
that?
Like, you know your profile picture, like that card?
Oh god, yeah, I still got that.
I know, yeah. It's alright. Just been playing with his dog all week. That's fair enough. It's a good way to spend a week.
Is that a euphemism?
No, it's not. I wouldn't do that sort of thing. But yeah, we are back. Ben, tell me one interesting thing you've done this week, which I'll be like, you know what, that's actually really cool.
Blimey, interesting.
Yeah, just innovate here.
What have I done this week that's interesting? Ben, okay, so I edited Ben Matthews, started a career on FIFA 20 with Ben Matthews, and he finished the first season top scorer of the Prem.
That's quite cool. I really like that. Is that with Villa? Is that with Villa?
Yeah.
Oh, I really like. See, that is actually that's quite cool. Actually, that's put a smile on my face. I quite like
Top
that.
scorer in the Prem. But I mean, obviously, that's not genuinely interesting.
No, it is. I like that. That's fucking cool.
A couple of rounds of golf for me this week.
Oh, good. I was gonna go.
Enjoying that quite a lot.
I was gonna try and go to the driving range. I'm bringing my clubs actually to Selly. Fuck, we could actually play golf.
God.
Man, we actually could. I'm bringing my clubs next week.
Well, luckily, because I'm part of the golf society within the club, I get to play at the Warwickshire, which is nice. It's got 2 courses, and because I'm part of the society, I don't have to pay for it.
Oh mate, I
obviously
do.
I'm like part of the society, so they just
You
get
are.
like a lot of tea time. So I'm getting free golf at the moment, which is great.
Yeah, to contextualise from next week for the next 2 weeks. Not this week, obviously we're recorded, but like I will be in Leamington. The dream team will be back together. I think this is the longest time since I was about 17. I've not seen Ben Taylor Matthews. Sorry.
Oh god, that's
It would have been the Ben Matthews days.
God, that's worrying, isn't it?
I know, yeah, that is bad. That is bad. Even when I was in Spain, I probably saw you more often.
Wow.
I know, yeah, it's a shocker, but no, that opens up all kinds of interesting possibilities, actually.
As long as we're 2 meters apart.
Oh mate, I'm not a social golfer, so I'll be in the rough somewhere.
We'll have to play like tiddlywinks while we're doing the podcast, like across the table.
The 2 meter rule might actually have been abolished by then, so we'll be able to like.
No, that's going to be in for a long time. I think that'll be the last thing to go.
I think it'll be 1 meter.
Really, we're just going to halve it.
Yeah, just be like chase lines.
Well, I mean, as we said just before we got onto the chase lines, as we got onto the call, I'm allowed to go and sit like right next to a stranger on like the Nemesis at Alton Towers. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I don't know why I'm not allowed to like be within 2 meters of somebody I know. I suppose if you've been in isolation from them, it doesn't really matter. But...
Oh, I have, mate. You know me. I don't mess around. But yeah, no. This week's going to be. This week, wow, that was a really interesting flowing chat to start the podcast. But this is going to be an interesting one this week. I think we can go straight in. Going to be about. So this was suggested by a listener, Legspinner82, a great contributor to the podcast. Give him a follow. Great views on politics. Great retweets. And this is going to be what real tennis is going to look like in 20 years.
Well.
Ben, you'll be 55.
What we think it will look like in 20 years. Well, not what we think.
Mate.
What could it look like in 20 years?
I'll be 43. That's incredible.
Yeah. So 2040 we're talking about.
2040. Wow.
That seems like a long time away.
Jadon Sancho will still be playing.
You'll still be getting haircuts in quarantine.
Yeah, exactly.
Jadon Sancho will still be playing. 2040. All right. Well, you'll be 43. I will be 55.
Oh my god, that's.
I'll tell you. There's one thing that's an absolute guarantee that what will look like the game will look like in 20 years.
Go on.
Ben Taylor Matthews won't be competing.
But will he be working in the game?
Hopefully not.
Okay, fine. Well, we'll have that on record. That's on YouTube now.
Well, that's fine. I did always say to myself, like, I try and treat. I try as much as possible, as much as you can, like in this game, sport, to try and like basically assume that you're like a professional athlete as opposed to
Yeah,
a
coach.
professional ball maker.
I respect
you know,
that. I respect that. Yeah,
that plays a bit on the side. So
yeah, that's a good point.
I've always kind of said that once I'm not good enough to compete, I don't think I want to just go back. I don't think I want to just be a club pro until like my knees are knackered and I need like hip replacements. I don't know.
That's a good point. No, I actually do. I do support that actually.
Don't get me wrong. Like, you know, real tennis clubs are great and stuff like that, but you do end up kind of getting quite irritated with certain things, and like
when you don't have the training and the playing to like
just
offset
like the politics and stuff of it sometimes can be a bit frustrating. So you know, you have the kind of pro playing circuit side of it, like as an escape kind of thing. And without that, I don't think I'd want to just go to work. I don't mean Leamington, by the way. I just mean like I don't think I'd want to just go to work, you know, Tuesday to Saturday and without any goal in mind to play.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Would you be available for like pro services? So if I'm in a world championship eliminator, could I bring you as my training partner?
Always.
Oh, good. When you're 55.
Well, I owe you one, don't I?
Mate, more than that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Who knows? That said, I've got nothing to fall back on. So
no, you do.
Anyway,
you do.
Anyway, one thing is for certain: I will not be competing. I don't think I'll be wheeling myself out there. Like
he's 55. Fuck me. Yeah, that would be specialist. But yeah, no, it's in 20 years. What, 43? I hope I'm still
43.
playing.
Are you still going to be playing?
Oh, mate, I'm going to be playing till I'm dead. Literally till I'm dead. They'll have to kill me.
You'll set your best chase as you collapse in a heap at better than 2.
That'll be it. Yeah, that'll be it. I will be playing till I'm dead. Hopefully, I need to create a legacy.
All right, so 40. Yeah. Okay, here's a question for you.
Go on.
In 20 years' time, are you going to be an amateur or a pro?
Great question. I'd hope I'd still be an amateur, but I mean, if I get like arrested or something, I might be a pro, because that'd be a good thing to fall back on.
Okay, yeah, that's not insulting.
I'm joking.
No, you could be. I was going to say you could be both, mate. You could be a touring pro.
Mate,
would you not have aspirations to be good enough to be a touring pro?
Oh, mate, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not ruling it out whatsoever. I'll have that on record as well. I'm not ruling out potentially ever being a pro. No,
well,
I
just
can't rule
mean
that
you
out.
could be an amateur that works in the city.
I wouldn't work in the city
because that's what all real tennis amateurs do.
Yeah, losers.
Fat cats. And then you could, if you're better than +2, or it might be different in 20 years, but if you're better than +2, you can be a touring pro, so you can still get paid.
Look, I want to throw this one out there. I hope there's more touring pro sort of stuff out there. I hope there's a bit more like maybe I know you always talk about there's got to be like an easy divide. You can't have people being semi-pros, but it'd be cool if like there was a bit more of a framework. Like you could buy a tour card for a year. Would you ever like? Do you know what I mean?
All right, so this is obviously kind of like moving away slightly from like the 20-year thing.
Yeah, sorry.
But if I would hope, like you say, if people are eligible to be touring pros and get paid for events, then crack on. Absolutely no issue with that whatsoever.
Yeah.
But this whole semi-pro thing, like, they're still getting paid, but they haven't been in a game for a bit and stuff. For me, that's just all complete bollocks. Like,
I disagree with it as well, yeah. I think if I was ever like +4, I'd be like, you know what, I've got a chance to do something amazing in the game here. I wanted to take it.
Because the thing is, what I don't understand with it, right, is some people are like, well, I'm quite good. Why can't I get my flights paid for and stuff? It's like, because you're an amateur. Like, literally, the definition of an amateur compared to a pro, like a pro compared to an amateur, is being paid for that service.
Yeah.
If you're not getting paid to play, you are an amateur. If you are paying to play, you are an amateur. So what I don't appreciate about it is like when people are like, well, I'm quite good, maybe I should just get paid for stuff, and I'm like, well, no, because you have a job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you get paid for your job.
You're earning like 100k somewhere, and then you want to come and take like 20 grand a year out of real tennis as well. Whereas we're all like, we're all in real tennis. That's how we get paid. So if you want to start getting paid for it, become a pro. Like, don't just ask for money because you're quite good. It's just garbage.
Indeed.
Anyway,
but in 20 years, let's think some other stuff.
I would hope that there is not more touring pros, amateur touring pros. I would hope that there are more pros.
Yeah, that's true. That's a lot easier, isn't it?
Just for the like security of the game and stuff. Okay, moving like talking about like something quite serious, I guess. The two things, like in terms of like number of courts in the world and stuff like that. Number one, in 20 years' time, I would like there to be. I know this sounds like really, really unambitious, but in the next 20 years, I would like none of the courts that are existing to have closed.
Right.
Which sounds really unambitious, but I think I remember doing a dual interview once for the newspaper with Rob Fay, bizarrely, and he pointed that out. He's like, first and foremost, we need to keep what we've got, and I was just like, I've never really thought that. Like everyone's always like new course, new course, new course.
It's like gambling. It's like gambling, isn't it? It's like, oh no, you bet with your winnings. No, keep it.
Exactly. So I would hope that all the courts we currently have are still there, and realistically, in the next 20 years, if we could get 2 new ones, I think we'd be doing quite good.
Mate, in the 90s they got 5.
Bridport, Bristol, Middlesex, Prested.
Oratory in 1990.
Oratory, there you go.
And technically Middlesex in 2000.
Well, that's what I said.
I know, so like, why can't, I think they could get 5 in 20 years.
Alright, so where? If we talk about geography, if you well, we've tried to go through your geography in the UK, haven't we? On this tour around the country, and it's not been great.
Oh mate, yeah, it's bad.
But if you look at where they're all clustered, right, what I think would be absolutely fantastic is to just create. Once you get to like north of Leamington, you've basically got Manchester and Newcastle, and they're obviously miles apart from each other.
Yeah, are you thinking of one in Stoke?
Stoke or like Nottingham, the one at Harrogate that was talked about for years would have been fantastic.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Maybe like a Sheffield or something.
Sheffield.
Well, just something to like link.
Yeah, true.
That the Midlands towards the north, and then obviously like from Leeds up to Newcastle is just in the middle of bloody nowhere. How on earth you link that to anywhere else?
They used to have a rackets court in Liverpool. Can you imagine that, like a Liverpool Open?
I mean, you wouldn't want to be getting into any disputes with the locals, would you?
Chase 4, mate. We'll see. I think there could be like between 3 and 5 in the next 20 years.
So if we look at where things have gone in the recent past of new courts, let's say, right? If you take all of those new courts, have we had before Wellington? What was before Wellington?
Radley.
There we go. Okay. So if you look at all the new courts since 1990, you've got
Schools.
Bridport, which was an existing court which was turned back into a real tennis court.
Yeah.
You've got Bristol, which, to my knowledge, is just completely freestanding. It's on like the Clifton Boasters like land, isn't it?
Yeah, Clifton College. Yeah,
it's on Clifton College land, but it is a completely like self-policed like club, as far as I know. But then, Oratory, Radley, Wellington, Middlesex, they're all attached to like schools and universities and stuff. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all, but I think that is, put it this way, schools and universities have got you're much more likely to get something happening at a school or a university where there's a big pot of cash rather than someone building a private court. It's not the Victorian era anymore.
No. It's quite cool how that sort of stuff did happen.
So it's looking like all real tennis courts in the future would kind of go down that more like facility based
attached to a sports centre.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, like, it's so difficult to build character and a club feel in there, but your foot traffic and your locations are so much better. I think you sacrifice the atmosphere and club feel massively, but I don't really think
you could argue that like there's enough of those clubs out there. I mean, there must be at least 10 like club feel places in the UK.
Yeah, no, I do get that. But let's assume if we move forward 100 years and all the new courts are like, let's face it, in 100 years, a lot of these old courts will be gone because you just won't be able to, by that point, you would have had to basically knock them down and start again because everything will be so rotten. And
true, actually, Ben, yeah.
Old.
Never thought about that.
So they're going to get replaced with these modern day stuff. Imagine what it's going to be like if you just walk into a club and there's just no real club feel to it. It'd be a bit of a shame. But then, I've never been to like...
That's like a squash club, though. They're all like that.
Yeah, I've never been to like Wimbledon. I've been to like the Australian Open lawn tennis a few times, and you don't walk in and go, "This is a club." It's just a good day out with a load of people. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what real tennis will be. People will come to the British Open like, "Yeah, it's a good day out here."
So it will all be quite kind of strange. But I guess, like,
20 years.
facilities-wise, it's quite difficult. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know.
Let's assume you took the British Open away from Queen's. Yeah, let's just say for whatever reason, the British Open happens this year, fingers crossed, and Queen's say something like, the roof's fallen down, you can't have it here. Right?
Mate, imagine where you're having it. Oh, you only need one court. It could be anywhere.
Yeah, but where are you having it that would even put, like, that would even be able to, like, have 20% of the facilities that Queen's has got? So don't get me wrong, like, the court at Queen's, a bit boring, right?
Yeah.
People don't necessarily, generally speaking, it's not people's, the court is not is people's favourite place to play, generally speaking.
Yeah.
But, with the changing rooms and the cafe, the restaurant, the TV room, you can easily, if you want to avoid traffic and all that stuff, get to Queen's early doors and kill the day there.
Yeah, you can.
And are you killing the day at Hardwick House?
Oh no, I've never been, but I assume you're not.
So where do you host? That would be my concern about, like, the 20-year thing. Like, if everything kind of turns into a facility, I think you're just going to get a lot more people. Well, I think this is what will happen, actually, and I think it's been happening and stuff at Leamington as well. I think people are generally the modern day person plays real tennis because it's what they do on, like, their Thursday night or whatever, but they're not necessarily buying into the club aspect of it. That's not a good thing or a bad thing.
I think that's just the way society's gone. I remember you said it to me ages ago. Like, we talked about it, didn't we, in a car once? Like, on Saturday fixtures, let's say. I think
that's been the big one where, like, a couple of my members have moaned and said, "Oh, people just want to play and then go." I'm like,
yeah,
that's just what people are like now. You can't just turn around. You can't just turn around to your wife now and just say, "All right, I'm off playing tennis for the weekend. I'll see you on Sunday night." It just doesn't happen.
No, I know.
Right, I can play, but I've got to go back and, like, cut the lawn. I've got to go and do this. Or people fit in. It's no longer like an all day or an all weekend activity for them, right?
Yeah, that's the way society used to be.
So if you take somewhere like Leamington, for example, one of the members from 30 years ago would play tennis a bit, but they'd stay and have, like, a few drinks. They'd probably use the bar as their local. They might host, like, a dinner once a month or something. So they're kind of constantly putting time and money into the club. Whereas now, people just kind of be like, they'll turn up 5 minutes before. "Hi Ben, hi Chris, how are you? Quick chat, play," and then they'll go.
Yeah, that's probably, I can see more of that happening in real tennis. I think it's happening now.
Yeah, it's happening now already, and that's why I think the kind of, like, like the independently owned clubs are going to start to struggle.
You're very perceptive, that Ben. Did you think that up on the spot?
No, I've thought that for a while.
Fair enough. That's a really good point. I'm glad we got it out there.
You hope that's not the case.
No.
There are obviously certain clubs out there where, if that does start to happen, they've got very wealthy owners, and either they'll kind of just, like, keep chucking a bit of money in to keep it going, or they'll sell or something. But some clubs, like at Leamington, which is basically owned by the members, it's going to be very difficult for them to keep money coming into that club to upkeep this building.
I mean, I think the American clubs will probably stay the same. Do you reckon?
I think the American clubs have just got it absolutely bang on.
Yeah, I agree. They'll never change. It's quality.
Well, I think the reason they've got it, because they've got multi sports, right? So if you take that, and that's just obviously the way real tennis is in England. Well, maybe not the majority anymore, since, like, the 90s and over. Before that, the majority of the courts were estate courts that have now been turned into clubs, right?
Yeah.
So no facilities. The only way to generate revenue at those clubs is for people to be on court. That is it, right?
Yeah.
You walk into Philadelphia, you can have people playing real tennis. You can have people playing rackets. You got four, maybe even more now, because they've got the courts downstairs. They've got, like, 7 or 8 squash courts. You've got, like, because they've got the bar facilities and dining and stuff like that. There's so many ways to make money constantly, and because of that, they can open their doors up to many more members. Like, let's be realistic. The American clubs probably, I'm only speculating here, but a large proportion of the money that comes in for those clubs would be squash based.
Yeah, I think so. It's a
So I
it's a
can't
lucrative
imagine.
game, isn't it? Like fits in with society and life. Squash.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's a
would
good
struggle
sport.
to believe that real tennis and rackets solely would keep those places going. So
Nah, it'd be the dining and the squash, wouldn't it?
yeah,
The
exactly. And
dining's very lucrative.
because of that, they can open their doors up. Like there's so much more people. They appeal to so many more people, so they get so many more members. Therefore, they can start to go right. We can, and I think I think a few of them have like gym-based pricing structures as well.
Well,
Like
like
they'll say, right,
off peak and stuff.
or they'll just be like, it's $300 a month, and you're all in. You don't pay any fees or anything like that.
I like that, to be honest. I like that
Yeah,
flexibility.
because the club can basically guarantee a certain amount of money coming in every month, right? So then they can pay a couple of locker room attendants. They can then like the service starts to get even better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Everything starts to improve because they've got that guaranteed like money coming in. And that's going to the American clubs is just absolutely bonkers.
You've still
And
got
for people in the UK that have never been like over to American clubs and they're like, oh, I love going to a club in England, and you're just like, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's perfectly pleasant there, but go to Chicago, go to Philly, go to New York.
Yeah.
Like those places are absolutely bonkers.
And then you'll forget about more tomorrow.
Well, but it's just a different thing, isn't it? They're purpose-built sports centres. We are still, generally speaking, private courts that have just gone public.
Yeah, and you get like little weekend tournaments as well. I think, let's say the category tournaments have probably lost their vibe a little bit. It's more just people doing their own thing, whereas maybe they were a bit more sociable.
Well, I think people are probably just a bit more. I don't want to use the word awkward because that's not fair, but because real tennis is one of a few things they're going to do on that weekend, I think people are a bit more like, oh, can I only play in the morning? I think for pros now it's a bit more of a headache scheduling stuff because I think people are a bit more demanding with their time.
Yeah, I agree.
Demanding sounds not very nice as well, but do you know what I mean?
I know. Well,
if you're organising a category tournament, 20 years ago, you'd just be like, well, I'll just do the schedule because they've allotted the weekend to this. Whereas now people are like, well, I need to go and see like Granny at 2, so can I play in the morning? And then if I win, I can't get back until like 5 and stuff like that.
No.
Yeah.
Well, what else? Right. That's a good point. I'm glad we've got that out
So
there.
where do you think, if there are more courts in the next 20 years, where are they going to be? I think they're all going to follow that kind of school-based.
They'll be in schools. I think
Do you think they'll follow where like rackets courts are that aren't there where there isn't tennis?
I just can't
Are
believe
you
that.
likely to see real tennis at Eton or Cheltenham?
Mate, the Eton thing is really interesting because apparently, like they fundraised for it a few years ago and they got the money within a day. But it's
I was
on.
going to say, I'm
I know,
surprised that
yeah.
you need to fundraise.
But like the thing is, because the Eton like school is on floodplain, apparently it's really hard to build like a new building. So I just don't think they can do it.
Okay.
Unless they went like off-site or something. So I think Eton would be like the obvious place to have one, but they just literally can't do it because of floodplain. I think one of the listeners told me that St Edward's Oxford is going to maybe have one. That might be the next one.
Is that city? Is that central?
In Oxford, I think it probably is. Yeah. I don't really know.
That'd be good. I mean, like obviously, I as a lover of the sport, you want to see it survive and thrive in any atmosphere. Obviously,
I'm glad you love the game.
I think, of course, I think it would be a shame. Not a shame. That's future words. I think it would be. I think if the next batch of courts were all at like public schools.
Yes.
I think that would not do the game any favours for its reputation.
I agree with you. It's already struggling. I mean, to bring this slightly, I don't know. I don't really want to bring politics into it, but obviously this like Black Lives Matter debate, whatever. And one of my mates from uni, obviously a completely innocent question. He's literally said, "Well, Bobby, like, are there any like black players who play real tennis who are like a top player?" And I literally was like, "I mean, no, there's not." And he was like, "Oh, right, fair enough." I was like, "Well, yeah, it's one of those, isn't it?"
Well, I mean, people see it as elitist, right?
Yeah, I don't want to see it as elitist. I don't think it is personally.
I don't think it's elitist whatsoever.
Neither.
If some piss guy hanging out the back of Wetherspoons in Leamington wants to come in and have a go, he's willing to pay his membership and buy a few pints a week. I don't give a shit.
It's also easy access to spoons, yeah.
Well, if the club turn around and say they don't want him there because he's not of the right social standing, that's elitist, and that's the club being elitist. And I'm not saying they are. So I think,
Mate, if he pays his fees and actually wants to play, like that's fine.
yeah, but I think a lot of people within the game are very elitist, but I don't think the game is. I don't think if you turn around to any pro and said, "Oh, what do you think? Should we not let that guy in?" I think any pro would just be like, "The more the merrier. Grow the game. Get as many people playing as you can."
100%, yeah, 100%.
Doesn't matter who. Like, doesn't matter what social standing like they are, how much money they've got. As long as they can pay their bill, get them in the door. Like let's and I think that's hopefully that will start to die down a bit, because that does my absolute head in.
Yeah, no.
And then the problem is, I'm not going to get into politics and say something I shouldn't say, but you look at like the conveyor belt of people in high-powered positions in this game. It's just one more. It's just always the same demographic of person every single time.
Yeah, no.
So nothing ever changes.
I think real tennis will maybe become a bit more like normal in the next 20 years. Like an average person will just be playing more often, certainly compared to 20 years ago.
Well, see, why not? Like, I'm an average person.
I know you are. Yeah, same.
Like, my family there was no family money for me. I just literally went to like an ordinary state school because it was just the one that was there. Do you know what I mean? There's no like, didn't get paid, didn't get put through schooling, didn't go to a school where I had to take tests to get in. It was literally like, that's the town, that's the secondary school of the town. Get yourself up there. And by the way, I'm not giving you a lift. You can walk. Like, that was life.
Get your steps up for the day.
Just a normal person.
Yeah, no, I think there's going to be a lot more of that, and I hope there is.
That will obviously change, but then that becomes quite difficult if you've then got like schools being built real tennis courts being built at certain places which kind of don't lend themselves to that. I can completely understand if a person walks into. I'm only going to use my club because I'm not using Leamington. I'm using me as an example. If somebody walks into the club that I work at, which just happens to be Leamington now, but I'm not using it again. It's not Leamington. If someone walks into the club that I work at now and just says, "I'm not made to feel very welcome," okay, I would say, "You are very welcome. You are very welcome from my perspective. If you don't feel welcome by the feel of the club or the members or anything like that, I'm really sorry about that, and I hope that we can change that." But you can't affect how someone feels, right?
No, you can't.
You can try and make the place. You can try and make the place more welcoming and less elitist. But if it's full of people who are elitist without necessarily knowing it, it's very, very difficult. You could take an ordinary person. Like Joe Bloggs could walk into a club, right?
Yeah.
And if they walk in and they hear a group of people, or they see a group of people all there with like jacket and tie on, like literally, and like they're talking like with really posh accents or something, I can understand completely how you go, "Fuck, I don't want to be part of that."
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, they'd be like, I'm not like that. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know.
Whether it's I don't want to be involved with them, or I don't feel like I can be involved with them, or I feel like they would look down on me, or whatever. If they feel uncomfortable, they're not going to join, are they? Which is why you just need as many people in the game as possible.
Yeah, exactly. No, people through the door, as we say. I think in 20 years that the streaming will be like so good.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on to something much better.
I know. Yeah.
Streaming.
It's fine.
I mean, if the money goes into it, like, it could be absolutely class.
Mate, think about 10 years ago, like 15 years ago, there was like no streaming. In another 15 years, mate, it'll be like space cameras and like drones and stuff.
Exactly. Think how quick 20 years. So what was the game like in the year 2000?
Mate, fuck knows.
There was no streaming.
People used to wear like genuine polo material. They didn't even wear cool shirts.
Yeah, full cotton.
Yeah, and like the rackets weren't even like extra tall. They were extras, but like
Well, then you go 20 years back from there, 1980. People are wearing like Dunlop Green Flash. Imagine,
yeah, exactly.
Imagine what trainers and stuff are going to be like in 20 years' time.
Mate, you can't even comprehend how much stuff's going to change in 10 years. Like, think about.
In terms of like, so we'll move on to this in a minute. But like, as you say, like, if you look at technology, you can take that kind of conversation into two different directions. I think the streaming as a result of that could be berserk.
Yeah, it could be amazing. Could be amazing.
And I think if people take the time and the effort and have the ideas, you can easily. We could do this now. I remember seeing King Carey at Philadelphia, he interviewed. He got Rob and Cam in front of like a green screen before like the final and stuff, and had them doing like a little. When you look at like a Premier League match or whatever, and it goes through the starting lineups, and the players like turn around and walk towards the camera. Do you know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes, 100%. Yeah.
Like superimposed onto the screen. He basically had that. So he had Camden on the left, like spinning his racket on his finger or something, and Rob was doing something like kind of thing. It's just like that. Just looks so cool.
Yeah. I know there was shit
I'd
like
like
that.
to see in terms of technology in the next 20 years. I would like to see. I mean, again, like we're dreaming here because we're talking about like money and stuff. It all takes money. I would love to see proper like production centres. So when Ryan very generously gives up, like the amount of time that he does is just bonkers.
Yeah.
And because the club's obviously it's all brand new to them, they don't have like a purpose-built tech centre for him.
Yeah.
So some of the time, he's just stuck. Like when he was at Chicago, not a proper Chicago talk. He was stuck up above the like viewing gap like all day.
Mm.
I'd love to see like proper production centres with like a couple of commentators for every match.
Yeah, I would love to be a commentator. I think I will be if somehow I
How
end up.
does how would that look? Just to actually have like a couple of commentators, like even if it's just semis and finals to start with, and then quarter semis, finals. You know what I mean? And just gradually gets bigger and bigger. I just think it's so good. I think the reason it's a bit of a novelty at the moment and people find it a bit funny is because everybody knows everybody, and obviously, like in order to get people commentating, it's going to be people within the game. So they'll just be like, "Oh, Ben, any chance you could just go and commentate on a set?" You're like,
Yeah, and it's
okay,
like
fine.
it's like commentating on your mates. It's quite funny.
Exactly, and it's a bit funny because it's all very brand new. But if you had people in there, people that actually knew what they were doing as well, because ultimately, what you've got to remember is like if people have favoured people to do commentary on tennis, because there's been quite a lot of them around.
Yeah.
Some people might go, "Oh, this guy's a bit rubbish," or "This girl's not great," or whatever. That would be, if you had like people that knew what they were doing that were in there. Do you know what I mean? Like imagine if you take a sports commentator and you look at how many of those sports commentators do multiple sports, and you're like,
no, it's just specialists. They just do one. Like Martin Tyler doesn't do darts.
but you do get some that do quite a bit, and I think all they do is they just do their job well. So they just do a lot of research on what it is they're going to commentate on, and then they have a bucket load of notes, and they just do it. For example, you could get you could even start like someone who has done a bit of like TV presenting, so you get John Inverdale to do it.
Yeah, Sally Jones.
Do you know what I mean?
Mate, her daughter, Sally Jones' daughter writes loads in the Telegraph. By the way, I think if ever, if ever there's something big in real tennis, I might tweet her. She's an avid tweeter as well. She's got some decent chat on there. But yeah, just needs like some specialists in, I guess, for the streaming, for the commentary, grow the game.
What do you reckon the like technology will be like in 20 years in terms of things like rackets and shoes and equipment?
Yeah, mega, mate, like mega.
Do you think there's going to be more like development with the racket? Because obviously in the last 20 years, I don't know when the extra tech came in, but it wouldn't have been. I mean, that would have been 2000. I started in 98 and it was there, so it can't have been there for that long.
100% there will be. I reckon.
So let's say 30 years ago there was no extra tech. That's a bit of a guess, but if we assume that's true, what could it be like in 20 years? The ball's going to be made the same. I assume they would be. Are we suddenly going to have like a fifth or sixth different layer of tying on it? Hopefully not.
They might like outsource balls to someone else.
That would be.
That might become more regular.
The only reason I'm saying this, like, is not because I'm a pro and I don't like making balls. I'm way ahead on balls. We've got loads of balls here ready all the time. But honestly, if you're trying to grow the game, what a waste of time it is to get two pros at your club to make the balls.
Yeah, I agree.
It is ridiculous.
Just give them to like anyone.
Just outsource them to somewhere. I don't care. Just Outsource them to someone and get them done.
My
So
dad.
I know this, like, I'm not going to name like countries because it doesn't sound very good, but outsource it to a country where labour is cheap.
Yeah, my dad's idea was given to prisons.
Just get it done.
Yeah.
Get them to prisons.
Yeah,
because
it's not a bad idea.
To tie and stitch a set of 60 balls is genuinely like 25 hours.
Wow, that's a day.
Right? So if you assume that you work 8 hours a day, 3 of your 5 working days in a week is dedicated to making balls.
Wow.
What a load of shit. So, you know, and when clubs kind of turn around and say, like, oh, we need more members, we need to get the court usage up, we need to get more juniors, more women, all this kind of stuff. It's like, where am I finding the time to do that? I'm stood here stitching fucking tennis balls. What a load of bollocks.
Yeah, exactly. I think there'll be like a machine or something that does it. I don't know.
Just imagine if you could buy that time back, and then you could be like, right, okay, I'm now physically going to be in the building a bit less than I was, but I'm going to be sitting down in front of like headmasters and headmistresses and like trying to get that school in. I'm going to be going and having meetings with the lawn tennis club and the squash club. Do you know what I mean? And trying to form partnerships and do all that kind of stuff. Actually do some stuff that matters.
I hope the game becomes a bit more corporate. Like there's more like sort of partnerships with sponsors and shit. Like there's more sponsor events. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a spectator sport, and the way squash has gone, maybe we're 20 years behind squash in terms of like the sponsorship deals. Because
if you look at all the people that run like lawn tennis and squash and anything where there is a ball, right? So let's say at the moment we're very lucky because we have a racket manufacturer, so we can just buy rackets from that racket manufacturer. We don't have a ball manufacturer, so if you think about all the people that are like running squash and tennis and I don't know, badminton and bowls and all that kind of stuff, they don't have to. All they have to worry about is like marketing, promotion, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
We can't do that because I've got to sit in my poxy little cupboard and stitch like 5 balls a day.
It's sad, isn't it, Ben?
Well, it's just a waste of time. Honestly, it is literally a waste of time. You have people that are skilled, right? They can teach real tennis, all that kind of stuff, and they have to waste their time stitching balls.
Well, in 20 years, who knows? You won't be stitching balls in 20 years, mate, so it'll be all right.
Well, I wouldn't be.
No, I know. Neither will I.
I hope real tennis pros aren't, because that would be garbage.
I don't think they will. Right, well, we've slightly overrun on this topic, but the thing is, in 20 years, we could literally talk about anything because we don't know. But I hope.
So to summarise, then, we hope for more courts. We assume there'll be more courts at schools.
Yeah, there will be.
That would be. We reckon new courts would be going towards schools. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're thinking streaming will really take off.
Yeah, I think so.
And we're hoping that real tennis pros are no longer making balls.
That's a good little. I think that's some achievable targets we've got there.
But I think if all 3 of those things happen, the game grows massively.
I know.
I know they don't sound very big, but I think the game gets a lot bigger straight away.
They got
take away the balls, you free up more time, get the streaming in there. It's a lot more marketable, and more courts obviously means more participation.
Far-reaching implications for sure. There we go. We've put it out there. 20 years time, who knows what's going to happen? Right. Well, we'll move on to the court section now. We're on about the oratory, aren't we? Is that right?
We are. We are at one of these schools.
Well, brother. Unfortunately, I've not been there, so I just know it's green. That's about it.
There's another one you've not been to.
I've only not been to 2, so I mean, yeah.
So when I went to the oratory, when I first started playing stuff, the oratory in the UK was a big hitter.
Serious?
Yeah, big hitter. Had the British Pro Singles. It hosted when the Satellite and the Taylor Cup. Sorry, when the Satellite first came in, that was under that was when the IRTPA Champs was being.
So this is like 2004, 2005.
Yeah, that was being held at the Oratory.
Sponsored by Laithwaites, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was definitely one of
the wine thing.
It was a very marketable thing. They had like sponsors stickers like on the court and stuff.
Across the bando, yeah.
It was it was a very forward thinking court. Had the pro singles, had a world championship, obviously.
06.
And they put the big glass viewing area in above the dead on. A very,
cool,
very innovative venue.
I know, slightly sort of like gone quiet over the last few years, but
really, really like the first one of its kind. The first one to put advertising on the court. They used to have Lathwaite. I think it was Lathwaite. It had something like painted onto the net, like they do. When you're watching like lawn tennis, they have like the Mercedes things on the side of the net.
That's well cool.
Had something there. Sponsorship down the timbre, and it was just like you say, it's a green wall, and the stickers and stuff were just black, so you could see them, but they didn't stick out like a sore thumb, so they didn't interfere with play or anything like that. It really, really was.
What did they have on the timbre?
Forward thinking.
Where did
something on there.
Did they have it what, at the bottom or the top?
No, drawing, like going down the timbre.
Oh wow. And that didn't affect.
But it wasn't massive. We're talking, subtle bits of advertising here. It's not like a League One football shirt.
Ha! Yeah. It's not subtle.
So massively innovative at the time.
That's really cool.
And then it basically just died.
Yeah.
For 15 years or 10 years.
Probably after Jonathan Howe left, maybe.
Went off the radar. Jonathan Howe, it got massive under Johners. Unsurprisingly, because honestly, that guy's just got so much character. It's unbelievable. So he would have got that place booming. He was there with Mark Edel. I'm imagining, knowing Mark like the way I do, with his like forward thinking and his kind of corporate mentality, the advertising and stuff, and Sky Sports would have been his kind of pushing, and that was really good for the club.
Yeah.
So between them, they had a great little thing going, and it was really, really a big hitter. And then it kind of just vanished for 10 years. But we're not going to dwell on the bad stuff. What we are going to say is like they have, it's basically been reborn. Pretty much now. What a great time to talk about it.
Great signings as well, Robin Clare.
Robin Clare Faye going there. Nick Howe hosted a World Championship eliminator there. So 2020 signals the arrival of that place, putting itself firmly back on the map.
Which makes it even weirder that I've not been there, because obviously it's going to be quite big now.
And you think the good thing you think about a court being at a school is once it's there, it's not really costing anybody any money, right? It's just there.
It's a facility, yeah.
So if it kind of just, it's always got potential. So you hope with Robin Clare that, I think the Oratory's all boys, right?
No, it's mixed. Oh shit!
Is
wait, hang on. I'll Google that. It could be all boys. Yeah, you might be right.
Anyway, you would hope with a bit of a push that you're going to get a lot more of the.
No, it's mixed. It's mixed.
It is mixed.
Yes.
Well, in which case I apologise. You hope you're going to get a lot more people playing, which would be great. Anyway, in terms of stature, that I think kind of sums up. It used to be major, then it basically died, but now 2020 is back, and that's great news. Honestly, it will be like having a new court in the game again, I think.
Yeah, not a bad observation actually. It probably will be.
It's going to be great.
Just really, really
facility. And it's obviously just an hour down the road for me, so
innit?
I can't imagine Rob wants to get out there and hit cross courts very much anymore. So I might have to drag Claire out there.
Do it, mate. How does the court play?
The court
looks dead bouncy.
It follows that kind of. So I would say like the traditional real tennis court colours. So it's got green walls, a kind of terracotta floor. I'd call it like the standard.
Yeah.
Real tennis court colours. From memory, and again, because I haven't played there for a long time, the lighting used to be poor. I imagine they've upgraded. In 20 years, I imagine they've upgraded that. But I remember it being dark there.
Yeah.
In fact, here you go. There's a bit of trivia for you. There's a picture of. So there's like a big collage of images from the 2006 World Championship. And Tim Chisholm, on his practice days, there's a picture of him on one of his practice days, and he's wearing sunglasses.
What?
And he's wearing sunglasses on court because the lighting was so bad. He was like, if I wear sunglasses when I practice, I literally will have to concentrate so hard to see the ball. When I take them off, it will feel like it's really bright in here.
Wow, fair. I mean, that's just spooky, but yeah.
So that's interesting for you. So yeah, the lights used to not be very, very good there. In terms of like appearance and stuff, it's just really as you'd expect from like a facility within a school and stuff. Everything's plush. You know, you go to like a lot of these individual like estate courts, and they're very rugged, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the bando and all the gallery ledges are all kind of white, really, really trim. Everything's like straight and square, and it's just the out play line is just like, you know, really nice bits of wood, and it's aesthetically very, very pleasing. I remember the two things I really remember about the Oratory, and I could be wrong, that it takes a railroad really easily.
Oh yeah.
Like you could overspin it quite easily, and again quite bouncy, I think.
Yeah, it looked bouncy on the videos I've watched.
Yeah, I don't think it really cuts down very much, and so again, like another one of these courts that we're mentioning where you've really got to be prepared to kind of like knuckle down and prepared to do a lot of running, really.
Interesting. Maybe I'd like it.
Do you know what? It's amazing how like the vibe that a place gives off and the people that are there really either encourage or deter you from going, isn't it? Like, to be honest, the Oratory has not been on my radar for 10 years because the ITPA Championships moved on,
yeah,
and it kind of started to kind of die down a bit and kind of retract itself from being one of the big hitters in the country. It's just easy for it to kind of like fall kind of out of mind. I had no reason to go there. No tournament. There you go. No.
Yeah, that's why I've not been there. I mean, why would I go?
No tournament, no National League, no reason to go.
I actually tried to go in like November, October, just because I was bored and I sat at uni, but no one answered the call. No one answered the phone in the office.
It's a shame.
I know.
They've spent quite a bit of money on the sports centre as well, I think, like the reception area. But now, I'm really looking forward to getting down there and having a hit.
Mate, we should
down there again and seeing what it's all about.
We should go when restrictions get lifted.
Absolutely.
Go. Let's go.
Yeah, I can't wait to get down there and have a go.
Mate, definitely.
Yeah, so in terms of like playability, bit difficult because I just haven't played there for so long. But I remember it being dark, bouncy, you know. But in terms of facility, brilliant.
Yeah.
So good. With what they've done with, you know, the windows and the advertising, and really, really, really good. I think it may have been the first court that I came across where the stroke zone in the hazard end was a different colour.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
I think that was the first court I ever went to that had that. Because I remember thinking, like, wow, what a really good idea. Although, having said that, I'm looking at the picture now, and it's not a different colour. I don't know how old that is. I mean, the serving bit of the penthouse is a different colour, which is a great idea. I think I said that in a podcast ages ago.
Yeah. Right, any players who've come from Oratory? Chris Herbert?
What, Nick Howell?
Yeah, Nick Howell, yeah. Johners, I guess. No, Johners didn't come from Oratory, shut up. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other people.
Rory Gunn works at the Oratory.
Nah, people who like started there. Paul Knox.
Yeah, Paul Knox.
That's a good idea.
He got down to scratch.
Yeah, Paul Knox is decent.
Definitely could have got better as well. Like freak talent.
Who else?
Very talented guy. Well, I mean, Zach Edel.
Yeah, good player.
But I mean, Nick's got to be the shining light.
Yeah, Nick is potentially one of the best they've had since 1990. So I think there must be like one more. No,
well, you're assuming at this point that it's got to be people that like went to school there, right?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I'm unaware of anyone else.
Yeah, no, fair. That's a few decent names though.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly as well, you know, when things were going very well there, the dream team of John and Mark, their two sons are the two people that we're mentioning.
Well, that's nice, isn't it? Maybe their sons, wherever they may be, will be the next few, but you don't know. They might have sons.
They might have daughters.
Yeah, that's true. Well, maybe their daughters will be
children too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they can. They can. Come on, Robert. Right, Benno. Where are we putting this? Where are we putting this court in your list? I can't comment because I've not been there.
Do you know what? Here's a fun fact for you as well. The Oratory is where I won my first ever tournament.
What was that?
The satellite tournament. I won the first ever satellite.
Oh, nice work, Ben. Well done.
Beat Kevin King in the final.
KK. Yeah.
KK. Do you know what? I just haven't played there forever, and so at the moment it's going to be kind of middle to lower third, just because I just have no like knowledge on it basically. But if we go and get a couple of hits in there in the next few months,
Yeah, man.
could go flying up the list.
Oh, exactly. I'm leaving it open. It's a potential wild card in my list.
Exactly. So that's how I'm going to put it as well, because I've not played there for genuinely 15 years. So I think it's I can't really comment on it. And you've never played there, so
No, neither. But mysterious
it's going to be the first ever to be confirmed.
I know. Where are we going next? So we can either go to Hardwick again, where I've not been.
Well, I think we're going to have to go to Hardwick, aren't we? Because it's right next door.
It's so close. I know. We'll have to do both in the same day.
We'll have to do, yeah, exactly. So we'll do Hardwick next time, and then we'll venture over to Bristol and get that ticked off the list, and then we'll move up.
Do London or something.
Well, no, we'll kind of do like Oxford, Radley. Then we'll do
Oxford.
Leamington, Morton. This is good because we haven't actually looked at a list yet, so we're just making this up, and I wonder if we miss any on the way.
Well, we'll find out.
We will find out.
We will find out. Benno, I've ordered a book called The Dark Genius of Wall Street, which is about Jay Gould's granddad. That came in on eBay, so I'm going to be reading that this afternoon, potentially. Actually, no, not this afternoon. No, I'm on the beers this afternoon.
Are you? What's going on today?
It's sunny and just meeting up with a few people in the park. I think I'm going to drink gin and tonic today, so it could be dangerous.
Wonderful. I'm absolutely broken today because I did a workout yesterday morning. Finished, didn't have time to stretch. Had to chuck down some lunch and then went and played 18 holes.
Woo.
And I'm a bit broken today, so I'd had no booze for me this week.
You're gonna get a Mackey's drive-through.
Did Monday to Friday no sauce, and then had a couple of beers after golf yesterday.
Oh Ben, you tease.
Monday to Thursday. So I don't know what's going on today.
Mackey's drive-through.
Mackey's what?
Mackey's drive-through.
Doubtful. Got to be hungover for that, really.
Yeah, true. I agree. It's horrendous. It doesn't agree with me.
I could set myself up for that for tomorrow and have a big afternoon.
Oh well, exactly. Imagine how much breeze we'd chat. Well, no, next week's going to be good. The sound quality is going to be better because you're actually going to be able to hear Ben's voice in the flesh. We could do it in like the park, Ben. We could just sit in the park and do this podcast.
We could. I don't know how well that would pick us up, but we could certainly do it in the back garden of the club anyway.
Oh shit, yeah. Oh mate, perfect idea. You're not allowed in the club though. We'll climb over the fence. Right.
I'm allowed in the club. I'll work there.
I'll wear like a cloak. I'll be a dog or something. Just have me in a lead. I know I'm good at stealth. Right. Well, until next time, which will be episode 19 in a bit.